There was no escaping that it was winter. The wind was bone-chilling, and even without it, the air was frosty. It had just started to snow the day before, but everywhere was already frozen. The roads were slippery, and it was easy to fall if one wasn't careful. "Your takeout is here. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late," Nathan Parker said apologetically. He stood in front of a shop with a window display full of gold and silver jewelry. "The weather's so bad right now. It took me longer to get here than expected." The young lady who'd answered the door was wearing heavy makeup and a gorgeous dress. She looked at Nathan contemptuously and said unhappily, "Really, there's no excuse for being late. I'm starving. Even a minute late is still late. I'm going to leave a 1-star review for this." "Oh, come on. Don't do that," Nathan pleaded with her. "What if I give you a discount? Can you not give me a bad rating? They'll dock me $20 if you do, and I barely make enough as it is." His best smile wasn't enough to win the woman, however, and she replied, "Don't try begging. It's not my fault you were late. I'm going to give you a poor rating, and that's that. Now, don't stand there like a fool. Get lost." The young woman grabbed the food from him and arrogantly walked back inside, her high heels clicking on the tiled floor of the shop. There was a yellow sports car parked by the side of the road. 2 young men were sitting inside it, watching the scene unfold. The passenger was a handsome young man who looked to be in his early 20s. He was dressed very sharply and wouldn't have looked out of place mixing with the socialites of the city. The young man in the driver's seat had a strong build and gave off a confident aura. He shook his head in disappointment and said, "John, did we find the wrong person? This delivery guy is such a pushover. There's no way he could be the dragon, the best assassin in the world. I could take care of this guy with one hand tied behind my back." The other young man frowned. He lowered his window and stared at the awkward-looking Nathan. He lit up a cigarette and puffed out a smoke ring. As he lowered the hand that was holding the lighter, it trembled, showing his excitement. He turned to look at the driver, and his tone was cold as he replied, "We went on a 3-year mission together, Leo," he said. "If it wasn't for him risking his life to come back and save me, I would have died back then. Let me remind you, if you dare utter another word of disrespect toward him, you might as well prepare your coffin now. I'll personally send you on your way." Leo was horrified as he felt the killing intent from his passenger. The man was John Garfield, and he was ranked at the top of the international killer list, on which he was known as the King of Hell. Leo was a very competent killer as well. He could deal with several trained men at once. But if he were to face John, he would get mauled. "Sorry, John," Leo hurriedly apologized. "I didn't know that the dragon had saved your life." Of course, the one who made Leo lower his head was the King of Hell, and not the food delivery guy who was standing in the cold wind. The sound of someone knocking on the car window broke the 2 men from their icy staring contest. Nathan smiled and waved. "Well, if it isn't the King of Hell, what a coincidence. Long time no see." It was as if John had expected Nathan's sudden appearance. He didn't show any surprise at all. For all he knew, the 2 of them had been discovered by Nathan the moment they had started following him. Only Leo, in the driver's seat, shivered as he looked at Nathan in shock. If he was the legendary killer, he was already within a meter of them, but they hadn't noticed his approach at all. Was that the sort of thing that took him to the top of the international chart of killers? Leo wondered. Ignoring Leo's unsightly expression, John opened the car door and stepped out. He frowned while looking at Nathan. "Boss, why did you leave without saying anything? Do you know that I've searched everywhere for you these last 2 years? When I got injured that year, it was very serious," Nathan said with a shrug. "I was just waiting to die, but then a beautiful woman saved me. She brought me home, and I miraculously survived. I realized then I was tired of fighting and killing. I just wanted to live a peaceful life with her, so yeah, that's basically it." He didn't try to hide anything. He just calmly told his story. "A woman? You?" John was clearly surprised. "Are you saying that you've been living with a woman all this time?" John's eyes were wide open, as if he'd seen a ghost. "Is this still the same ruthless dragon that I knew before?" he asked himself. Assassins were cold-blooded and merciless. They couldn't have a proper home and have feelings for others. Killers like them were supposed to be mysterious and would move around at a moment's notice. Other than the task owner, no one knew the true identity of the killer. "Yes," Nathan replied, cutting across John's thought. "And I'm married too, so no matter what, I'm not going back to my old life. There's no need to waste your time on me." He shrugged and looked a bit helpless, despite the smile on his face. John coughed and then nodded as he parsed the new information. Married? The power of this news was like a bomb going off in his head. At that moment, Nathan's cell phone rang. As he answered it, John listened in and could faintly hear a woman's voice. "Have you eaten?" She sounded neither coquettish nor domineering. It was a voice as pleasant and fresh as the mountain spring. Nathan's smile softened as he said happily, "Oh, thank you for your concern, my love. I haven't eaten yet, but I've just finished a delivery. Do you want anything to eat? I can bring something back with me when I'm done." Hurry up and go eat," she said. "It's already late, and you've been working so hard. You can't go without food. Also, you don't need to get anything for me. The reunion is tonight. You can meet me at the college after you finish work." "Roger that. See you soon." As Nathan put his phone back in his pocket, John stood there, stunned, like he'd been frozen solid. Nathan patted his shoulder and smiled. "So, now you see my situation. Well, if there's nothing else, I'd best be going." No," John started. "Boss, with your abilities, why are you leading such a life? To be looked down upon and disrespected by others, you should come back and work with me." "You don't understand," Nathan said. "I like my life just how it is. The things that we did before seemed very courageous and exciting, but we also neglected many beautiful things. All right, we should leave it here. It'd be best if we don't meet again." Nathan walked away from the car, so John got in and Leo started the engine. For a man who was humiliated and looked down upon every day to still smile when he returned home, patience had a different definition. "Boss, I won't give up," John shouted at Nathan's back.